Handful of super thanks to get throughout today's show. First up from Wendell Palmer says $5. Thanks, Tom. Watch you every episode. Huge fan of both you and the boys. Thank you, Wendell. A similar sentiment from Cowboys Fantasy. Just says thanks. And then Pray Hustle Shine Exotics. I don't know what that is. Just says thanks. And then some hashtags mixed in there as well. All of those $5 super thanks got them in to our George Pickens Jersey Raffle. They are all entered into my tracking spreadsheet. You guys are all in. Every $5 super thanks or super chat if you're watching live gets you in to the George Pickens Jersey Raffle. From CJ DeYoung III says, hey, Tom, confidence level in Dak staying healthy, 0.69 is his. Prediction: Dak gets hurt, done for the year by Game 7. The Cowboys continue their slide into obscurity. Thanks. This is my nightmare scenario, where if the quarterback can't stay healthy, not a lot else matters. And given the injury history, I am worried about that. I'm not saying it's locked to happen, but I think we'd be burying our head in the sand a little bit if we just pretend there was no threat of injury. So that is my concern. Is it that the Cowboys begin the year 4-3, 5-2, whatever, 3-4. Dak gets hurt, and they win 6 or 7 games this year. And they're like not high enough to get the good QB we all want, but not in playoff contention. And then they're actually in mediocrity. Mediocrity is not 4 wins, 3 wins. That's not what that is. It's when you're picking between 11 and 19. Where you're not a top 10 pick, not in range to get a hopeful franchise QB. That's where I don't want to be. That is my nightmare concern. So, thank you for the trauma, CJ. Christian Crosby, Max or Sydney's brother, which one do you think? How about a James Cook trade? I get the interest. It's a running back. He's unhappy in Buffalo. I'd actually be pretty shocked if he got moved, period. Like, the Bills are a contender. They don't want to pay James Cook $15 or $20 million. Okay, fair. Totally get that. But they don't want to trade him away and run it back with Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. Like, that's kind of the Dallas Cowboys running back room to an extent. Like, Davis and Jaden Blue, different styles, but, like, same investment level, essentially. I would be surprised if one of those guys got moved. I would be. Or if Cook himself got moved. And Dallas, you're trading for James Cook, who wants to get paid. You're not paying him. So he's still unhappy. So it kind of like doesn't fix anything. With that in mind, pinned comment on today's show. Would you trade for James Cook? T for trade, P for pass. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Stephen Goltz, think the Cowboys will sign anyone from the UFL once season is over? I think it's possible. They did that last year. Didn't hit on, well, they kind of hit on Josh Butler, which was more than a year ago. I think when you're looking for UFL talent, you're not actually looking for a starter on offense or defense. I do think you're looking for special teams help. They looked at that with the linebacker they signed last year, didn't make the roster. They nailed Brandon Aubrey. They nailed Kevontae Turpin. So Kendrick Whitehead, the safety, was the UFL Special Teams Player of the Year. That could be your safety 5. Carry him on the roster back end. Like that is, I think, the type of player you should be searching for and expecting. Like, if you're looking for a defensive tackle to make the roster, probably not going to happen because those guys have already been in the NFL. I think the odds are very low on that point. Robert Simmons. This is on the Madden sim to recap. Dak, 2 interceptions. Defense can't get a stop. Aubrey missed a 50-yard field goal. Coach kicked the field goal from the half-yard line. Cowboys lose by 3. Funny how that one turns out and didn't go the way really any of us wanted to. Well, you guys are enjoying the Madden sims. I certainly am as well. Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Chubbies. Summer is here, which means it's official time to let the dogs out. And by dogs, we mean your legs. If your pups have been stuck in jeans or sweats or pants or whatever last few months, set them free with the lined swim collection from Chubbies. Chubby's biggest sale of the year is on, which means $45 bottoms, both shorts and swim trunks, and up to 65% off select gear. You can pair the original stretch shorts with the Chubby's Performance Polo, and you're good to go. For brunch, backyard party, crashing a wedding, heck, going golfing. It all works with Chubby's. So do not wait. For a limited time, Chubby's biggest sale of the year for $45 shorts and up to 65% off select gear is underway. Go to chubbyshorts.com/chat and grab your favorites before they are gone. If you missed the sale, don't worry about it. You can use our code CHAT, C-H-A-T, for 20% off at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Support the show. Let them know we sent you. And when the survey asks, and you're going to turn some heads this summer, because summer's here. And just like it in Chubby's. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. It's chubbyshorts.com/chat. Daniel, I'm going to say it, but it's time for the Jones boys to give me a Jaire Alexander or Jalen Ramsey at corner and go get DJ Reader. They got to stop, sit on their hands, and do something. So, several things. It's June. Not a lot happens. Alexander is the biggest NFL news beyond, I think, an eventual Jalen Ramsey we're going to have. Like, it just not a lot happens. Because players and teams kind of want to see what things look like in training camp early on. Like, you'll probably get some more traction with moves in July than right now. Alexander is obviously available. I think Jalen Ramsey is. No one wants to pay him $21 million right now. Like, that's the crux of the issue. There's not a lot of interest in $21 million for Ramsey. So there's kind of a staring contest going on there with, I think, other teams in Miami. I don't think DJ Reader is actually available. It's a great idea. I just don't think he's available, even though I'd love to get him. Elite 360, as we stick on the Jaire Alexander conversation here, says, Jaire Alexander, please. William Cook says they should sign him, but it'll be too expensive. I don't know what the cost will be for Alexander. It's not going to be the $17.5 he was owed. Not going to be $17.5 million. Is it 12? Is it 10? Is it 8? I would at least figure out what the cost is. I would doubt it that, we're from this on Monday. The Cowboys know what it is already. Skeptical fan says Alex missed time due to injuries recent years. 10 games in 2024. And he's just anti-Alexander, which is totally fine. Opinion-based shows. You can have opinions. It's cool. The injuries are a valid concern, too. Like, you don't know how many games you're going to get out of him. That's why I was never going to pay him $17 million in a trade. Didn't make sense. Half that figure for a one-year risk, that I am more comfortable with. But I do acknowledge injuries are a very real concern. So predictions. Will the Cowboys sign Jaire Alexander? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments of today's show. From Zion, we have Lamb and Pickens on offense. Do we have anybody like that on defense? It's supposed to be Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs. That's supposed to be your young, long-term duo, but Diggs hasn't stayed healthy. And they have that. They're good friends off the field, too. What I hope for this year, I'd love to say DeMarvin Overshown, but he's not healthy either. It would be nice if it was Micah Parsons and Osa Odigizua. Because you've really committed to 3 players currently beyond this year that aren't on rookie contracts. It's Dak, Lamb, should be Micah soon, and Osa. So it would be nice if Osa and Micah formed that dynamic duo. From Corey, if when Dallas adds a corner, does Diggs have any trade value? No. Diggs is owed, with the de-escalator, like $9 million still. No one's paying that for a guy that maybe is back in November. Like, we don't know. I don't know if everyone has a good feel. Maybe we'll get some news at minicamp once, like, the Cowboys get a better check on him. He did his physical on Monday, and the leaks start happening. I don't know when he's going to be back as of filming. Like, maybe it's late October. It's November, December. I don't think anyone's taking on that contract with a big question mark of when he returns. If that was the case, kind of wonder if he already would have been moved. So predictions. How many games does Trevon Diggs end up playing this year? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. A $10 super chat from Samuel. What do you think about Coach Shotty talking with Micah on the Good Night Call? That was a positive. Micah's having fun, but I don't think Micah ever would have done something like that with Mike McCarthy. I don't think they were ever in that type of relationship. So, from a bonding with your players perspective, big old box check there. And very on-brand Shotty answer. I think all the stuff that Shotty can control so far, he's done a good job. If that's the only stuff he does well, it's still a failure of a season. So there's a lot more he has to do, but I will give him credit and praise for I think being a good leader of players so far. There's a lot more that has to still happen. Good leader of men so far. Let me clarify that. Has to be a good leader of players on the field and a good schematic guy and a good game planner. So there's a lot of stuff he has to do still, but again, positive so far from Shotty. From Chris Broussard's burner account, thoughts on the show Get Up on ESPN. I try not to watch. Those shows are just kind of nonsense these days. I'm not the biggest fan. If you guys want more free Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos, hit that sub button. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Like this question from Crimson Cowboy. More or less under center with Shotty calling plays? I'm going to go with more. And I think that's a good thing. The Cowboys in recent years are not unique to this issue, but there's been a lot of, you can go watch the McVay offenses and the Shanahan offenses to an extent. There's a lot of I forget what the exact team was, but one of the teams this year had done single-digit under center straight dropbacks. Everything under center was a run or a play action. This was not the Cowboys. I think in general, a big focal point from the Cowboys has been trying to marry their play action game with their run game. And I don't think under McCarthy, the run game and the play action game looked at all similar. I don't think that they tried to do some outside zone stuff, but they never did that consistently. It was all halfback dives. It felt like last year, and for several years in a row, the Cowboys' play action offense was one of two plays. Not always, but mostly. Waggle, where they roll it out right and check it down to the tight end, or those forced vertical deep shots to Turpin that never worked. It was never open. Play action, send it downfield, and it's just max protect, and nobody's open. So I bet they do some more under center to help marry the run game with that play action game. And maybe they do some more pistol too. They kind of, I want them to do more of it, and then Dak got hurt. They did a little bit more pistol last year. I think you're going to see more because it wasn't a lot of it anyway. Toxic Tom with, I can't tell who that is in the profile picture this time around. Who do you see? Pickens primarily ISO receivers, some use them in multiple sets, bunch. I'm curious what the formation splits look like for the Cowboys. They were among the league leaders in wide splits, splitting guys to the far sides of the field. And the better offenses in the NFL have done more tight splits. Because in general, spread them out and run, bunch them up and throw. It just makes the defenders cover more ground more often than not. So I would like to see bunch sets. I'd like to see Pickens and Lamb on the same side and kind of, run some, they're not twists, but crossing routes and kind of try to send one guy inside, one outside from the opposite spot and try to not make it so static on offense. So they'll put him on as the ISO wide receiver. I think a lot of his routes are going to be vertical stuff, goes and outs and comebacks and some drags and slants, but keep him on the outside where he wins at his best. But there should be some variation.